give us an update on Daniel Talia, first of all.
Daniel Talia, I think he might have a little run around today, and he's just said before he's been getting up to a pretty good speed, so I think that's one we'll just assess tomorrow. Obviously he came off the ground pretty tight on the weekend, but we'll give him every chance to play certainly this week.
We're yet to hear of the extent of what the scans said, but that sounds like it's not much of a serious injury.
Yeah, well, hopefully not. So, but again, it just all depends on how it feels and whether we want to risk it and that kind of thing. So, yeah, we'll just see how he pulls up tomorrow and if he trains with us tomorrow.
How close do you reckon he'll come to getting up for the weekend?
Well, normally with hamstrings, if there is an element of risk in it, we probably sort of pull guys out, and the beauty with that is we've had so many guys that have come in and stood up in so many roles for us. So, I mean, Andy Otten's probably the perfect man to swing back. We've seemed to chuck him everywhere this year. So he's nicknamed himself Sally's at the moment, just filling all the gaps we need. So, I mean, if he doesn't get up, I'm sure we'll be fine without him, as we've shown throughout the years so far. But we'll certainly give him every chance to get up as well because he's a pretty handy player.
So you don't reckon it's a month, sort of having normally, even with Tex, it was sort of 2 weeks. This one isn't as bad?
From what I understand, I'm not sure, but he certainly had a run around today and was feeling all right.
And JJ?
JJ again, he just hasn't done much training, but we expect him to train with us fully tomorrow, and yeah, if he's looking fit and healthy and can put his hand up to play, then I'm sure the coaches will certainly think about it.
Has he been able to do any of the contact stuff that we know he needed to do last week when he was running around, but he just needed to run into some blokes? Has he been able to do any of that? Yeah,
I think he's been doing a bit of that with some of the fitness staff, but we'll certainly test him out on track tomorrow with a few of the boys.
Assuming someone doesn't play, whether it's Knight, Kelly, Talia, who kind of looms as the replacement player at the moment?
We've got multiple guys that are again been playing really well in the SANFL. Scotty Thompson had a good run back there on the weekend. Jonathan Beach has been elevated from the rookie list to senior list, which is really, really good for him. Dean Gore's another one. Jordan Gallucci, he'll be running around this weekend. Miles again. So we've got a whole heap of guys we're really confident that'll come in and play a role for us.
Well, you've been here a while. How do you measure that 5-game patch you're in terms of where you've been before as a group?
Certainly a very good start to the year, and as it's been noted, the best start to the year we've had as a footy club and for myself personally. But it's just enjoyable footy to play at the moment. It's an enjoyable place to be around, and I know the guys are certainly confident coming to the games and certainly have a lot of belief in their ability in football.
It's a long run to September. Is there still more growth in it?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, still. Last quarter on the weekend we probably fell away a little bit, but there's been plenty of growth in our game, and probably one would be the team defence stuff. We still want to restrict teams to scoring a bit better. Yeah, I mean, as you said, there's a long way to go in this season, and we're certainly not content with where we're at.
How's the challenge is going to be able to hold to a pace to the end of the season that other teams are building, so getting that measure as to whether you're still well ahead for where you need to be in September?
No, we'll certainly still build as well to that time of year. I think that's what most teams do, try and build throughout the season, so that's hopefully where our growth will come as well.
Would you say you're in career best form at the moment after 5 games this year?
As a team?
Personally for you, sorry. Would you say you're in career best form, or are you still building up? You feel like you're not quite there?
I certainly feel like probably most guys on our team that I'm in some good form, but I think that comes from it's a bit of a byproduct of having such good performance as a team. I mean, when you've got 18 to 20 guys that contribute every game, it certainly makes it a whole lot easier to find the footy when we're possessing it a bit more and to be involved as well. So I think, as I said, it's just a byproduct of good team playing good.
Do you see part of that as Sam Jacobs? He's in great form personally. Does that help you? You know, him tapping, him being around the ground, does that help you be a better player? Sam
Jacobs helps everyone be a better player. I think most ruckmen are like that as well, but Sam in particular is such a happy guy, and he certainly makes me feel relaxed out on ground, and it brings me back into the present moment, which certainly helps me play footy. And when he's smiling, I'm generally smiling, and yeah, he's certainly playing some good footy, Sam.
What do you made of Richmond's start of the season, Rory?
They've started very well. We played them round 1 JLT, and their pressure was probably the main thing I noticed had stepped up. They certainly put us under a lot of pressure, and they've done that to a lot of teams this year too. So I think we're certainly going to have to be at our best, but we certainly can't stuff around with the ball going forward. We want to make sure we still give our forwards a chance to win the ball in there, and it'll certainly come down to, again, a bit of a battle of both midfields who can get it into their forward line quicker.
Jack Rewell was outstanding for them on Monday night against Melbourne with 6 goals. If Daniel Talia can't get up, will be Cole Hardigan to get that job on him?
It could be a multiple of guys. I mean, got Cole Hardigan, Jake Lever, and I'm sure some of the smaller guys, with the way we play our defence, will end up on Jack at some stage. But the thing with Jack, he's so good in the air. As you saw the other night, he's so good on the ground too. So look, but the way we play our defence, it's not just ever reliant on one guy down there. It's about us mids getting enough pressure on the footy and forwards up the ground, so these defenders can take an easy mark.
Where's Riley Knight at the moment? His hamstring complaint.
Yep, so I'm not so sure about Riley. I'll see if he trains tomorrow. I'm sorry, Alyssa.
Why is Dustin Martin so hard to tackle? Why can't anyone tackle it?
I think when you've got the confidence to fend blokes off, a lot of guys don't normally expect it, but I think a few people should expect that by now, surely. I mean, he does it so well, and he's just so strong upper body, so yeah, that's probably why.
Got a way to counter it yourself?
There are ways to counter it in the tackles, but yeah, our tackling coach today said if I get fended off from him, I'll be buying him a coffee, so yeah, we'll have to see how I go.
Bit of a promoter's dream, that Sloane v Martin.
Oh, a little bit. They've got a great midfield. I mean, Cochin's been, I reckon, in unbelievable form. You now got Caddy running through there, Dion Prestia. So they do have a really solid midfield that has a heap of depth to it as well. But so do we. So we'll certainly keep rotating a lot of guys through there.
How's Jack Kelly's eye?
Good. He's feeling much better. I've had a few chats with him, obviously with a couple of eye injuries myself. So. I count myself as a bit of an expert on the eyeball, and no, he's certainly much better, and yeah, he should be right to play this weekend.
Does he have any issues with vision at the moment or anything like that?
No, so he did, but that's all back to normal now.
Roy, who's developed in that midfield to make Adelaide less reliant on you having to carry the team through the midfield?
I don't think I've ever had to do that in the first place, but I mean, Matty Crouch has certainly stood up to another level. Brad Crouch, you saw on the weekend, I think his first quarter was some of the best footy I've seen him play. It was just back to that speed. We've had Curly Hampton come in there, which just provides us with some outside run and speed, which I don't have. Rory Atkins, again, provides that same speed as well. And then you've seen guys like Rory Laird, Riley Knight, Eddie, Charlie come through there. So just adding a bit of depth to the midfield.
How tightly do you have to cross your fingers that Brad Crouch gets an extended run at it, given the form that he's shown in his first game back?
Oh, not cross your fingers. I mean, he's done all his rehab really diligently. The medical staff we got here have been really good with him too. So really made sure everything's really strong, especially lower body. And I think Brad's feeling pretty confident that he'll now play for an extended period of time, and certainly his form's going to be good enough as well.
We're on the debate about what the rotations have done for the players and the physical demands on them. Do you see the link to the rotations, injuries, hamstrings?
Not personally, no. I actually love the less rotations. I mean, I'm sort of more of a grinder and a long distance man. I prefer the speed being taken out of the game a little bit, I suppose. So, no, I haven't seen the noticeable.
Have your teammates talked about the fatigue levels that come with not having the bench to run to, and what that may be doing to their bodies?
No, we certainly get enough time to rotate forward and on the bench as well. So we encourage guys to rotate on the field and try and get a little spell at times, maybe down forward. But I mean, the thing we ask of our forwards now is to make sure they're putting enough pressure on as well. So sometimes you rotate forward, you don't get that spell you need.
Is 90 the right number? Because there's that debate as to whether it should be shrunk to 60.
I'm not sure really. I'm not too fast. As I said, I prefer it personally, just from my body makeup, that we have lower rotations.
Sloane, how's the PA stuff going on? Obviously on Triple M last week you said you haven't ruled out sort of some more drastic action. Where does it all sit?
Yeah, so currently still in like hot negotiations, which is good, and both parties have put forward deals to each other. And look, I'm sure we'll find a happy medium in between there, but it's still going to take time to nut out a few of the key points that we want to get across and that the AFL want to get across too. And we're certainly going to have to sacrifice a couple of areas as the AFL, PA and the AFL are going to have to sacrifice a couple too. So just a pretty standard negotiation process, but we do hope we get something done in the short term.
Strikes the buzzword, isn't it? I mean, everyone wants to talk about that, but without going there, are the players comfortable? Is there any unrest? Are they happy with where things are sitting?
No, players are certainly happy where things are sitting. And I mean, we are in the middle of negotiations and things do take time as well, but yeah, we'll just have to see how it pans out over the next week or so. And the good thing is the AFL have made a really good proposal to the AFLPA, and we're still not happy with it, and we still don't think it's at the right spot, but we'll keep negotiating and hopefully keep going in the right direction.
So when you said you haven't ruled out striking last week, is that sort of tempered a little bit?
Oh, for the moment, while we're in negotiations, unless things do go not to plan for us, I suppose.
Rory, to look back on some lessons from last year, if you crank up enough wins to start thinking about using players, either resting players or changing things up for a few weeks towards the middle part of the season, is there an advantage there for you that you're thinking about what could come with these early wins?
I think you're thinking too far ahead, Richie. We certainly don't think that far ahead at the moment. I mean, we've got Richmond this weekend as a top of the table clash, basically almost, and that's certainly all our focus is headed towards that. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, I suppose.
So just back on Talia. Given it's only already 5 games in, he's such a key part of the team and such a good player. Can you take any risk with him? If he's at all under any doubt whatsoever, is it worth even considering playing him after a little hamstring tweak?
Oh, if he's fully fit, you take him. If he's really confident, definitely play him, I think. But again, we won't know that until later this week, possibly tomorrow, possibly Friday or Saturday.